Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Monday Night Pod. My name is Jeremy Jacobowitz, and I'm with my tag team partner, Adam Welby.
Hey, yo!
This is the podcast all about the Monday Night Wars, all about the battles between WWF Raw and WCW Nitro. Each and every single week, we go back in time and we re-review when Raw goes head-to-head against Nitro. At the end of the day, we are trying to determine who really should have won the Monday Night Wars. But Adam, why should people listen to what we have to say?
Well, because you've been with us this long and hearing our expertise as is, but as Jeremy mentioned, we're a tag team. I'm his tag team partner. We've been together for years now, and if anyone knows anything that's great in professional wrestling, it's when one tag team partner eventually stabs the other one in the back. And Jeremy has yet to throw me through a barber shop glass window yet, or hit me from behind with a chair. So, that could happen on any one of these episodes, so you got to stick around just to see if and when it happens.
Maybe not during COVID episodes where we are miles and miles apart, but
you think that you think that right now, but you never know. That seems like the perfect cover to start off at the top of the show right here, and then when we're in hour number 2, somehow you walk out of your screen and into mine, and there it goes.
I will say, I promise you guys, we will not be going to an hour number 2 in this podcast. Don't listen to what Adam has to say. But yes, that's a great reason. But also, we both used to work in a WW tape library job, so to watch all of wrestling. So we watched a lot of wrestling, including the wrestling this week.
Yes. Oh, yes. Wait, we were supposed to watch the wrestling for this week? Of course we were.
Oh, I guess Happy New Year, guys, too.
Yeah, absolutely. We made it through. 2020's over.
We did it. We're still in 1997 on this podcast, but in the real world, it's 2021 now.
It's very true. It's very true. And if we can maybe tease a little future content that we're going to maybe drop next week, Jeremy, right?
Sure.
Our podheads who've been around with us for a while might remember in previous years, we've done not only our end of the year retrospective when we finish a year in the Monday Night Wars, but we've done our modern day retrospectives as well. So keep an eye out. Coming around the corner, we're going to have a retrospective on 2020 for all y'all. Obviously, a very challenging year, a very sad year, but also a very fascinating year in wrestling. There were some things to really celebrate, some awesome things that happened, some dramatic things that happened, some things that we'll just want to take a moment to acknowledge. But it's going to be worth celebrating. So stick around. Be excited for that. Monday Night Pod 2020 retrospective coming your way soon.
Great. But shall we talk about 1997 instead for now?
That's true. We do have a time machine, so I think we should do that, Jeremy.
Take it away, Adam.
Awesome. So this week I am going to be heading up Raw. As you know, since both shows have gone to 2 hours, we now switch off every week who's going to be quarterbacking the shows. So, I'm going to jump up here first, and this is Raw on March 4th, 1997. I am not sure which show number it is because I looked around online, and I don't actually work at WWE anymore, so I can't just look that up immediately in my thing. Maybe Jeremy has it because he's always a better host than me.
I did have it, and it's on it. I have it right here. Stand by. It's episode 199 of Raw.
Episode 199, which is funny because it is 1997. No,
Is that funny?
Regardless, this show is going to start out with a video package about a cold open video package about the knocking down of the Berlin Wall, and you might be wondering yourself, why are they opening this show talking about the Berlin Wall? Well, it's because we are coming to you from Berlin in Germany for Raw tonight. We are not live, obviously, but they are not saying that. Because, time differences and stuff, just like when they do it from the UK nowadays. But we should have a hot show with us tonight. The video package also talks about the European title tournament that has been going on. Not in front of our eyes, obviously, on Raw, but it definitely had a lot of brackets. And tonight, we are going to crown the first ever European champion, with the 2 finalists in that bracket being none other than the WWF Tag Team Champions, Owen Hart versus the British Bulldog. So that is sure to be filled with drama and intrigue. But to start the show off, we're going to make Jeremy happy because here comes his boy Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who's going to
Mm-hmm.
be taking on Bret Hart. This match goes 17 minutes and 20 seconds.
No, it
Buckle up,
doesn't.
guys.
Wait a minute, Adam. That should not go 17 minutes and 20 seconds. What are you talking about?
That's what I saw when I looked him up.
I did not. It did not. No, it did not. In my notes, I have 8:45, and I will
What?
say it felt like 8:45. Did not feel like a 20-minute
It
match.
felt like 17:20 to me.
Maybe you're right. Who knows?
But that's just because I don't care for this era of Hunter as much as you. Anyway, Honky Tonk Man is joining on commentary here. Starting out before Bret comes out, we have some picture-in-picture with him where Vince is asking how he could possibly stay focused with everything that's been going on with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Bret says that he hopes and prays that Stone Cold is at home watching the match, and he's going to realize that he's going to do the same thing to Stone Cold at WrestleMania, what he's going to do to Hunter tonight. So, big words. Let's see what's going on here. Also, during Bret's entrance, for some reason, the camera focuses on a mom yelling at her two adult sons in the front row, which cracks me up. And we also see Stone Cold arriving at WWF Studios back in Stamford.
Last time that happens was one of our favorite episodes.
That's true. That was in October that Stone Cold was there and raised some hell. So anyway, the crowd is super hot for Bret throughout this match. Most of it is kind of on the ground, rest holds, while the announcers are talking about the submission match that's set for WrestleMania between Bret and Stone Cold. Obviously, the end of the match comes when Bret has Hunter in the Tree of Woe, is stomping the shit out of him, and the ref comes up trying to get him away from him. Bret shoves the ref, and the referee calls for the DQ. So your winner of this match, because Bret would not stop stomping in the Tree of Woe, is one Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Jeremy, what do you think about this 17-minute and 20-second match?
I don't know about that. The 8-minute and 45-second match, maybe with commercial breaks, it added up to 17, like starting from the beginning. And I don't know, whatever.
Oh, maybe. So my times are probably going to be all off for tonight because I have long ass matches here. So we will see.
Whatever. I thought it was a little house show-y. It was fine. I mean, it did what it accomplished. They wanted Bret out there first because he was going to get the biggest pop and get the crowd going, and they got that. The ending was weird, but I think it's more playing into the seeds of change that we will see with Bret coming up.
Yep, I agree. There's some shades of where he's gonna be going. Anyway, after the match, Bret is still kind of going after Hunter, and who should slide into the ring to get between them? None other than that woman, Chyna. We still don't have a name for her.
Amazon.
Chyna. Yep, that's right. Chyna gets in there. There's a whole ton of officials, including Gerald Briscoe, coming out there, trying to separate Chyna. Bret doesn't take a swing at her or anything, though, and she doesn't really take a swing at Bret. And then they escort Chyna out, but about halfway up the ramp, Hunter and Chyna meet up, and Hunter kind of pushes the officials back like she's with him and walks to the back with her. So Hunter is acknowledging her. Now we know there's something there.
Yes.
Curious. Anyway, we are shown an empty chair back at the WWF studios. However, apparently Stone Cold Steve Austin is mic'd up because you can hear a toilet flushing. So apparently Stone Cold took a shit while he is mic'd up. And you know that had to... I can only imagine if it's popping Jer Bear like it is right now, how much it was popping Vince. You get it. He's taking a shit.
Well, I mean, forget about just how absurd it is. The funniest part is they're still like, where's Stone Cold? We can't find him. It's like, but you just heard he was in the bathroom. What do you mean you can't find him?
Yeah, why did you cut to studio when your talent is 10-2? For a little peek behind the curtain into production terms, so people understand. 10-1 is something that you'll say on set if you had to go take a piss. You say, you call in your whoever you're working with. You say, hey, be right back. I got a 10-1. 10-2 would be if you're going to drop a deuce. 10-3. These are ones I've made up in the while bored on set. 10-3 is when you got to go vomit. 10-4 is okay. 10-5 is when you got to go rub one out. And 10-6 is when you're going to go hook up with the talent. Anyway.
I think I had 10-3 as going to go smoke, because that came up a lot more often than other things.
No, you were just working on a bulimic set. I think people were just running outside to go boot. Could have been on Worst Cooks or something, right? Anyway, next up, we have an Intercontinental Championship match. We have the newly crowned, or I should say recently, because it's been a couple of weeks, crowned Intercontinental Champion Rocky Maivia going against none other than Vader, who's with Paul Bearer. I had to note that this match went 15 minutes and 1 second.
My note says 7:18.
You know what? I probably am including commercial time or something in this.
Maybe that's it.
So. Regardless, this is a back and forth match. The crowd is actually pretty hot for both guys. At one point, Rocky drops him with a DDT, and Vader on the ground just pulls off his own mask. It just made me laugh. I don't know if it was supposed to come off in the DDT or something like that, but it's
they said like it got taken off from the DDT, which is weird, and I don't know why he didn't put it back on. It was sitting right there. It was weird.
Yeah, that cracked me up. But anyway, pretty good. Like I said, crowd is into it. Things are going hot, and Vader and Rocky are on the outside, swinging at each other. When all of a sudden, in comes Mankind, who runs in and hits Rocky with the urn, and Vader's disqualified. So, there you go. We got our second disqualification in this house show of a Raw that we got going on here, with actually good matches, decent matches so far.
I thought this was pretty good. I think it's Rocky's best outing, and I think maybe you don't put him up against a main eventer like this just because you have to have a screwy finish, but I do like the fact that he's in there against a veteran, someone bigger than him, for him to show off his speed a little bit more. Like, these type of matches make a lot more sense for Rock to be in, rather than who do we see him against a few weeks ago? He's another green guy, and it's just that doesn't fit. At least Vader is over. He could show him how to work. He could really get Rocky going, and there are a few Rocky chants. It worked better than it has in the past.
Yeah, that is quite true. I am kind of digging through my notes. I have, let's see, a couple of weeks ago, I have Rocky versus Leaf Cassidy.
Yeah, that was it. When I was like, what the fuck is the point of this match?
Yeah. Leaf's not exactly green, but he's not an established guy with the... Yeah, exactly. He's not over. But anyway, after the match, Vader tosses Rocky back in the ring and beats the ever-loving fuck out of him. Next up, we have a replay of the ECW action that was happening on Raw over the last couple weeks. This includes King calling them out. This includes them showing up at the Manhattan Center, all that kind of stuff. But next up, we're going to a hot match here between Sultan and Flash Funk. My totally, definitely not off time here has the match at 11 minutes and 17 seconds.
They did not go 11 minutes. The match is 4 minutes long.
Anyway, during this match, King calls in. And
maybe you had it in European time, Adam.
Maybe that's it. Yeah,
okay,
that's right. King called. You know what? What you have must be the time that it was in 1997. Mine is adjusted for inflation.
Oh, that's definitely.
Anyway, King calls in before the match. He bitches about ECW. I also, before this match, I said I thought the Sultan gimmick was done, but I guess I was mistaken.
He has a WrestleMania match against Rocky.
Well, not that we've heard of yet.
Oh, well, spoiler alert, that's what's going to happen.
Come on. Anyway, we have a quick little speed versus power style match here, which, is fine. Eventually, the Flash Funk is in the corner. He jumps up, kind of trying to catch Sultan with a head scissors takeover, but Sultan says, no, fuck all that, and plants him down on the ground, gets right over him, stretches him way out with the camel clutch, and gets a submission. There you go. Any thoughts on that match otherwise, Jared?
No, this match is stupid. They knew it. That's why they had King and Paulie call in separately during a
Oh,
4-minute
right.
match.
That's right. Yeah, you gotta have all these call-ins. Anyway, we see a quick replay reminding us last year that Stone Cold tore apart the WWF studios when he was there in October. We come back and we have Psycho Sid backstage. He is going to be facing Mankind tonight, defending his WWF Championship. And Vince asks if Mankind is going to have any surprises in store for him. Sid yells that Mankind has been brushing up on his German language, but he should have been brushing up on the game that they play, by which I think he's referring to professional wrestling. Anyway, he says that Mankind will be a symbol in his wasteland of victories because he is the man and the ruler of the world. There you go.
He shouted a lot.
Yep. Whisper and then shout, whisper and then shout. We know Sid. Anyway, next up, and I should have said this earlier on, but I'm sure our podheads are very smart and they can put 1 and 2 together here. The ring announcing tonight is in German. We have a German ring announcer.
Which I appreciate.
Yes, absolutely. If you turn on the subtitles and the WWE Network, they will just say speaking foreign. So there you go. Not speaking foreign language, not speaking German, speaking foreign. So awesome. Anyway, Ahmed Johnson is brought out to the ring. The announcer says a bunch of stuff in German and then asks in English, Farouk challenged you. What's your answer? Johnson says that he accepts the challenge to a street fight and he won't come by himself. Not this time. And then he leads the crowd in a "You're going down" chant.
Well, I'm glad you heard all of this because they didn't have the house mics turned on and you could barely hear it. So I guess the subtitles worked out for you because I sat there being like, what the fuck are they talking about? Half of it's in German and the other half is in English that I can't hear.
That's just quality television right there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, next we have a quick replay of the Legion of Doom coming back last week, and then some footage of them screaming in the crowd on Shotgun Saturday Night about being back. So that's all great. Next up, we have Mankind versus Psycho Sid for the WWF Championship. My inflated time has this match at 10 minutes
Adam,
and 28 seconds.
oh, that's actually what I have. I was going to say, you have it as an Iron Man match or something.
That's right, that's right. The longest punch kick match in history. Mankind is shown picture in picture during his entrance, and he is yelling a promo backstage, 90% of it in German, which is
Just
quite impressive.
Yeah. Wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
Not as good as Cena learning Chinese, but
no,
very
yeah.
impressive.
Cena speaking Mandarin was so impressive. But anyway, Sid is really laying it into to Mankind. It's pretty stiff in this match, and I said it's a punch kick match, but it's actually pretty good for what it is. We have picture in picture with Stone Cold for a minute, and he bitches about being in seat 38C on the plane on his way to Stamford, Connecticut, and he bitches that he had to eat a stale sandwich on his way to Stamford, Connecticut. He says that basically he's taken his turn to whine because that's all that Brett does every time he's on TV is he whines. Anyway, back in the match, Sid catches Mankind during a back body drop attempt and power bombs him through the mat and gets the 1, 2, 3, much to the delight of the live crowd.
Yeah, it was interesting because it is heel versus heel, but Sid was obviously playing much more of the face here. Even though Mankind had the respect to learn their language to cut a promo.
Well, there's no way that promo played in studio, or in the arena.
In the arena, maybe.
But this is a funny thing I don't think we've ever talked about. So we got to see these little things when we were working at the WWE tape library, where we'd be going through like a Monday Night Raw that was filmed, in 2003 in Detroit, Michigan, or whatever. And I specifically use this example because we would sometimes see things that did not make air but were shot anyway. And I'm not just talking about like when Candice Michelle comes out with a t-shirt cannon, which happened all the time, and that would be recorded too. We'd see that too when we were going through all these tapes, digitizing them. But another thing we'd see is sometimes they would shoot backstage stuff that would air just for the crowd, that just for like the live crowd,
Mhm.
to get into something later that night. So, like, my specific example I remember of seeing this, as I like to do with specific examples also from that time period, involves Rhino. It was something that was, it was a Raw where Rhino was going to be in the main event, but he was going to be going against the babyface, and they were in Detroit, Rhino's hometown, and he's supposed to be the heel in this match, obviously. And so they aired this thing backstage where, like, I don't know, Edge and Christian came up to him or something and said, like, "Aren't you stoked about facing John Cena or whatever it is in Detroit in front of your hometown?" And he goes, "Actually, I don't live in Detroit anymore. These people are the worst. I moved out into the suburbs. Screw everyone here. And you know what? The Red Wings aren't that great anyway." Like, it's just like taking a minute to talk shit before the thing that, like, they just aired for the live crowd because they're like, oh no, we've booked the hometown guy as the heel in the main event against our babyface or whatever. And so just kind of thinking about that is why I also realized there's no way that they would show Mankind's to the
Right.
crowd, showing respect, speaking their language and all that. But anyway, that's just another little peek behind the curtain from what we had back then. But speaking of behind the curtain, let's go to WWF Studios in Stamford, Connecticut, in the same building that shared a parking lot with the trailer we used to work in behind them when we worked in their tape library. Vince McMahon is going to interview Stone Cold. We finally have Stone Cold in the chair. He asks Austin about costing Brett the WWF Championship so many times. Austin says that Brett just runs around complaining that he gets screwed, but Austin has been getting screwed for the last 7 years. He asked why when Shawn Michaels hurts his little knee, he gets to get a whole video made out of it for them to play. He says that he had the flu and a blown out knee when he went into the Final Four. He says he is truly the real WWF champion and no one can tell him any different. He says that his submission match he's in is a bunch of bull because he doesn't know a whole lot of submission moves. But it don't matter. He ain't got no quit in him, and the ref will never hear me say I quit. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so. Good Stone Colding all over this at the end. Jeremy, are you enjoying you some Stone Cold said so here?
Yeah, this is great. He's pissed off. That's what I like.
Yeah, he's got that fire in him, and I like when they let him talk about, I've been getting screwed for the last 7 years. All that shit. That was a bad Stone Cold I just did. What is going on with me today? Anyway,
How many one leg wrestlers go 25 minutes?
that's right. See, make sure to tweet at us and let us know which of us has the worst Stone Cold impression, because neither of them are
What?
good.
Oh, what?
What? Anyway, if you want Stone Cold impressions, go to Talking Shop or something. Come on. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, next up, oh boy, let's see if we have the same time here, because we are going to finish out the European title tournament and crown the first ever European champion. We have none other than Owen Hart versus British Bulldog. This match goes 16 minutes and 58 seconds.
I have it a little longer, but close enough.
Ooh,
I have it
okay.
at 17:30. But that could be like, when they ring the bell, there's
whatever.
margin of error works. Okay.
Podheads, you hear what I'm saying. You're picking up what I'm putting down. This be a long match.
Well,
And also, spoiler, this also is one of the best matches I think we've seen on Monday Night Pod.
Before we get into the match, let me just say something here. They're crowning a new WWF European champion, a brand new champion.
Mm-hmm.
They have not had a new championship in the company, real championships, since 1977. Around there. There was no mention of this leading up to Raw. There's no talk about it. There's no grandness. There's nothing to it. And there wasn't anything to it because this belt was never supposed to be a real championship. It was just a vanity belt for British Bulldog so they could have like him on top when they went to Europe. And then Sean wanted it and ended up being a real title. But it's so crazy to me that like I understand the point of like business is booming in Europe. Let's give them a title. But then you should have just from the beginning, it should have been a real championship. There's no women's championship right now. So this is only four championships in the entire company now. The third singles. And you make nothing out of it. I mean, this match made up for it. We'll talk about it. But it's so odd to me. It's like, this could have been a huge moment building up for weeks and months and years and everything. And it just was like, we just show up in Raw like, well, there's this tournament that we never fucking said anything about. And we're not giving you any reason to care about it, explaining to you what the belt means at all. I mean, I guess it's good that they're doing an actual tournament where the original WWF Championship and the original Intercontinental Championship, the tournaments were actually fake. So at least this time they have a real tournament for it, but they only like dip their toe into what it could be. Like you could have made program out of this for months.
Yeah, look, you are not wrong, my friend. And you know, this tournament was actually like pretty freaking stacked. Let me just read to you the original 8 who were involved with this tournament, who we've seen none of these matches. The British Bulldog and Mankind. These are the first
I'd watch
four.
that.
These are the 4 matches. British Bulldog, Mankind, Vader, Rocky Maivia, Owen Hart, Flash Funk, and Bret Hart versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
So they gave us these matches on TV anyway. They could have just had been in the tournaments.
Semifinals, we had British Bulldog versus Vader, and Owen Hart versus Bret Hart. So, you know, this is a bit of a drag. Nonetheless, also while we're on the European Championship, far be it from me to put over anything NXT related, being the AEW mark that I am. I know, the two can coexist, people. Calm down, I'm just being a jerk. Something that disappointed me, even though it is probably the best looking belt that they have right now in the WWE, I was bummed when they started NXT UK that it's the NXT UK title. I
And
thought
not the
it'd be
WWE UK title. They switched that back and forth.
bring back the European Championship.
I see.
Why not? Wrestling is about legacy.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. That belt had no legacy. It existed, but do you really want to go through the former European champions? I don't think it's so acclaimed.
Dude, you want to go through the former Intercontinental Champions? There's been some real low points for that belt. But, like, look.
Kind of.
Kurt
Not to the
Angle
level
was a
here.
European champion.
It's true.
Jericho was a European champion. I think, let's see, was Benoit that? I don't know. But
Al Snow had a real long reign. I want to say Maven had the belt for a little bit. Test dominated the scene of the European division for a bit.
Mark Henry had it.
Perry Saturn.
I'm just saying, like, there are some, yeah, of course. There's like, there's low points in the belt, of course, but there's a bunch of Jeff Hardy was European champion, RVD,
Adam in 1 year from now, the UK Championship will have been around for longer than the European Championship.
Really?
97 to 02. Yeah. So now UK's gone back 2 years now. It's maybe another 2 years, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I thought that would have been kind of cool. But anyway, Bret Hart versus British Bulldog. One of them is going to have, Owen Hart. Thank you. Versus British Bulldog for the European title. One of them is going to get this novelty belt, as Jeremy referred to it as.
A vanity belt.
Vanity belt. Vanity novelty belt.
Oh, I guess I spoiled the ending also. Oops, sorry.
Regardless, like I said, we have one of the most technical, fast-paced, strong-hitting, mat wrestling, submission holding, springboard bouncing matches that I've ever seen on Raw. This match is excellent. I highly recommend going back and checking it out. There's some really cool spots throughout it. Bulldog reverses a superplex midair at one point. They're just going spot for spot with reversals. I was watching the Ric Flair 30 for 30 for like the third time the other day, and he was laughing about, just going into the ring and trying to blow other guys up with his cardio. You could, like, these two were clearly trying to blow each other up with their cardio, and neither of them is ceding an inch. So it is awesome. At one point, Owen is going for a pile driver, and it gets reversed into the Bulldog power slam, which nobody kicks out of, except Owen Hart kicks out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Wild, wild, wild match. Anyway, they're going roll up for roll up here, and eventually one of them, with Bulldog on top, hits the 3 count, and we have your first ever WWF European Champion, the British Bulldog. And just translate all of what I said into German for the live audience, and we're good. Jeremy, your
Yes.
thoughts on this match?
I thought it was great. I thought it was wonderful. I think I was pretty into the show so far. I think it was fun. I liked that it felt so different, but maybe the matches weren't so great. But in this match, it was so good that it pulled up the entire show. As you said, probably, definitely the best match we've seen on Raw. Probably the best match we've seen in Monday Night Wars history so far. And ended up becoming one of the better Raw shows. And it's a good thing too, because Adam, this is the final WWE Monday Night Raw until 2001.
All right. Well, that's so we got 4 years between
4 years of Raw is War, which begins next
go.
week, Adam.
Well, the beginning of an era, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So in general, we both loved that match, but Raw overall, I very much enjoyed. I gotta say,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
even trying to think of what I would even consider the low point.
The stupid Flash Funk Sultan match is stupid.
Yeah,
But they knew it was, and he sort of blew by it pretty quickly and ignored it for most of the match, which is smart.
It's just stupid because you don't really care about either of them. But
that's wrestling. If you don't care about the wrestlers, it sucks. That is wrestling.
Who cares how much air that Flash Funk gets on his moonsault? That's fair. I'm just making myself a little note right here for when we do the potties for 1997 to remember Owen Hart versus British Bulldog for the WWF European Championship.
Okay. I don't think we'll forget that one. That one is pretty historic.
You say that now, and we forget everything when it comes time. We go, it's time for the potties. What happened this year? I thought you were taking notes.
Very, very true.
Anyway. Yeah, that's Raw. We both seem to enjoy it. I'm willing to. I have an open mind, and I'm excited to see what WCW has in return.
Well, Adam, let's do it. This is Nitro number 77, and we are live from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Obviously, a lot of wrestling history at the Omni. This would be the final WCW event there, at least the final Nitro there, and I imagine the final WCW event. So, here we go. No show open. Let's just go to the back. A gigantic Hummer limo arrives, and it's the NWO. They are very cocky and very excited for what's about to happen. They start walking, but right behind them, Adam, is another limo, and in it walks out Dr. Harvey Schiller. And shit's going down tonight. I believe he's the executive VP of Turner Sports, which means that he is in charge of WCW.
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, who didn't own a Dr. Harvey Schiller shirt back in the day? So I'm just as excited as you are, if not more.
WCW is really shitty at the merch. If they were good at the merch, they would have been. First match, though. Conan and Hugh Morris versus Jeff Jarrett and Mongo with Deborah, of course. This match goes 3 minutes and 15 seconds. both heels, I guess, but whatever.
Not according to the crowd.
No, that's what I was just about to get to. So, who takes too long? Hugh Morris takes too long to top rope and accidentally hits a flying crossbody on Conan, allowing a hot tag to Mongo, and he goes buck wild, and the fans go insane. Answering the question of which one's the heel or face. I guess it's Mongo. Anyway, Mongo is doing his thing. Public Enemy come out and they try and grab the Halliburton from Deborah. Jeff goes over to be like, hey, what the hell? And he tries to grab the Halliburton back from Public Enemy. He's pulling it from him, pulls him so hard that he yanks it so hard that he swings backwards and he nails Mongo right in the head, allowing Conan to pin him for the win. Like, he took a shot to the head. It was like a boom.
This was the single greatest Halliburton spot I've ever seen. It was fucking hilarious. Like, first off, he swings that thing back. Jarrett is on the mat on the outside, right? He's pulling it. So he has the full extension of his arm swinging when he pulls it back, and it goes flum and just bam, right into Mongo's face. Mongo sells it like he got shot in the head. Like, just goes like stiff and drops. It was hilarious. Like, I laughed out loud when I saw it because it was so good.
For once, Mongo was in the right position. Like, it took a lot of timing to get right, or it was hard to get the timing right, and he was right there.
Yeah, and like we've talked about, like when Mongo doesn't need to pretend like he's some badass killer, he's the best. And this was oh my god, I'm like, I just have to, for the people watching on YouTube, I have the biggest smile on my face thinking about this spot because it was so funny and it was so well timed, like you mentioned, and just everything about it was perfect. Oh, it was great.
Well, they're a little upset. So here comes Mean Gene, Flair, and Arn. We're going to have to talk this one out. Arn is pissed about what just went down. Jeff said, listen, I was just trying to protect Deborah. You know I'm on your side, blah, blah, blah. Flair says, Jeff's making him look bad. Come on, pal. Mongo wakes up finally and starts screaming at Jeff that it better have been an accident. Deborah starts talking and gets booed out of the building.
Yeah.
She has more heat than anybody on the card once again.
Yeah, this Vicky Guerrero heat should be referred to as Deborah Four Horsemen heat.
Well, next up, Adam, is DDP versus Rick Fuller. This match goes 2 minutes. A diamond cutter ends it for a huge pop.
Sure does. Fuller's a big guy too, man. He's like bigger than DDP.
Oh, Fuller's like close to 7 feet tall, I think.
Yeah. Moving like really fast.
Got like a little bit of offense in, but this was a squash match for DDP to get a little heat back from last week's beatdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I wonder what his opinions are on his beat down from last
week. Mean Gene is back, Adam. He's here to talk to DDP about Macho Man attacking him last week. He says that Savage has snapped, but snap into this. Bang!
I get it. I get it because of Slim Jim and bang.
Yes.
Sweet. Great.
Crowd loves it.
Crowd loves it. DDP is the man.
Next up, Ray Mendoza Jr. versus Juventud Guerrera. This match goes 5 minutes. No entrance for either man. Always a good sign. Big springboard leg drop by Juvi. Juvi says Mendoza over the top rope, and they question why it's not a DQ. Excellent question. Once again, these rules are never clarified in WCW, so what the fuck is the point of them? 450 splash ends it. A pretty good match. Juvi, you usually look for the botches. Seemed pretty clean.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think Ray Mendoza he looks and wrestles like a luchador out of 1977. And
well, I think it's because he wrestled in 1977.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I mean that in the nicest way possible. You know what I mean? Like, so he is a very sturdy base for Juvi to do all of his crazy shit off of. So,
although Ray still was taking bumps and shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he is. Ray's good in this too. Both of them like put on for a quick match. Like they put out a good effort here. So, I enjoyed it.
Next up, Jimmy Hart, Kevin Sullivan, and Jacqueline come over and take over the announcer's desk. They talk about what they did to Benoit and Nancy. Jacqueline is so full of herself that she even challenges Hogan, Luger, and Savage. Bring it on.
Well, you know, if you look like Jacqueline, you can do whatever you want. So go on, Queen.
Yes, more of her, just her and Sullivan loving up on each other. Um, Next up, though, we see Hank Aaron is here in the arena. I want to say that every shot of fans in the arena was some Turner executive that they wanted to get their kids on TV, because every time they cut to like someone in the stands, it was like a dad with like his young teenage family, and they're like cheering way too heavily as if they were just like happy to be with dad at work or something. And they're like, yeah. Oh, we'll get the kid on TV. That'll make him feel real good.
Yeah, there's some boundary issues with WCW and TNT. Clearly, back then, it's one of those things that AEW's done a good job of not
Well,
overstepping their relationship.
TNT owned, or they're under the same corporate umbrella.
Yeah,
A little different. Anyway, Mike Enos versus Dean Malenko is next. The match goes 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Dean is pissed still. Dean is pretty much trying to rip apart every single limb of Mike Enos, arm, leg, just going for it. Enos gets a few offensive moves in and goes for a body slam, but Dean is able to counter it and roll him up into a pinfall.
Yeah, I wrote this is a Mike Enos match. Like, you know what I mean?
But I like Dean's fire. Something a little different from him.
Yeah. Dean has been firing up a lot more lately, but it's just always like, so we had this match almost 1 month ago exactly on February 3rd. We had Mike Enos versus Dean Malenko for 7 minutes and 9 seconds. You guys who've been listening, I try and look for the good in a lot of these like kind of lower mid-card guys in WCW, trying to find something to appreciate about them. And I'm having much more difficulty finding that with Mike Enos. I liked him when we were at the WWE tape library and seeing his stuff in was it AWA? I think.
Yep, AWA.
Yeah, which was obviously 10 years before this. But yeah, Enos is kind of not doing it for me in WCW.
No. Well, Dean gets on the mic afterwards, and he talks about being the new and improved Dean Malenko. He then moves on to Eddie, since they will be facing off for Eddie's U.S. Championship at the pay-per-view.
Thrilling. Wonderful.
Next up, Mean Gene is here and brings out Eric Bischoff. They talk about all the belts being on the line at the Uncensored match. He says that NWO is really responsible for WCW's success. He's going on and on. Look what I've done. It's all NWO, blah, blah, blah. But Adam, here comes Dr. Harvey Schiller. And he says, Eric, we need to talk. Questions Eric about his contract status, saying that he can't just do whatever he wants because he has a contract. He can't just fire referees. He can't just strip people of belts. So as of now, Eric, you are suspended and you can no longer sign any contracts.
Ooh, goodness gracious. Well, you shouldn't have gone around firing all those referees and getting the, summoning the wrath of the executives. One thing that I thought was kind of funny here was, Dr. Schiller came out and came out to not exactly a rumbling of applause. I think maybe not a lot of people knew who he was until Mean Gene specifically says, that's your boss, Eric. And then the crowd pops when they realize that Bischoff is in trouble.
Yeah, the people that popped were all the office employees that work under him that were sitting in the front row. But besides that...
you needed Mean Gene to clarify before the good people.
Which is why Mean Gene is a pro.
He sure is.
Well, next up, Ultimate Dragon of Sunny Ono versus Eddie Guerrero. This match goes 3 minutes. Cartwheel into a cross body, which Eddie rolls through and attempts to put his feet up on ropes to pin Ultimate Dragon. Can't find the ropes, but is able to pin him anyway. Very quick match, sort of a sloppy ending that sort of killed any goodness that the match could have had for me.
When you say he couldn't find the ropes with his feet, we should mention he found the ropes with the rest of his body because like his whole core and hips were like laying sideways on the ropes, like while he's making the pin. Like he made the pin from the bottom rope. Like
Yes,
it
but
was
again,
ugly.
I mean, I've talked about this before, how like I don't understand how having your feet on the ropes gives you that much extra leverage. Certainly, having just your body splayed over the ropes gives you no advantage in a pinfall attempt, but it
Well,
worked out for Eddie anyway.
well, Jeremy, maybe one day, friend of the show Austin Gunn or somebody, friend of the show Mick Foley, friend of the show Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Maybe they can get you in that squared circle, put you on the mat, get you in a pinning predicament, and put their
Put
feet on
my
the second rope, and we'll see just how
But Eddie,
leverage likes to play out there.
Here's the thing. The second rope I can understand a little bit more of. Eddie was on the first rope.
Oh yeah, no, that was that was total. That was a total disaster. Maybe friend of the show, Bull Nakano, maybe can talk about. Who else do we have that's a friend of the show? Whatever. Everyone's a friend of the show here.
Oh my God, Adam! Once again, Mean Gene is out here. Feels like the good old days of Nitro. Eddie addresses what Dean said earlier. He wants to apologize, but it just hasn't been accepted by Dean. Dean storms out. Dean doesn't want Eddie to give the fans a snow job. I've never heard this saying. Did you know what this means?
I think I was told on the playground in middle school, but it was probably not the correct nomenclature.
Don't give the fans a snow job.
Snow job, noun, a deception or concealment of one's real motive in an attempt to flatter or persuade.
Is this Urban Dictionary? Or is this a real dictionary?
This is from the this is definitions from Oxford Languages. Snow
so it's
job.
a real word. Interesting.
Noun,
I've never heard
informal,
of this.
North American, a deception or concealment of one's real motive in an attempt to flatter or persuade.
No, I've never heard of this. Anyway, hour 2 begins. Mr. Wall Street versus Scotty Riggs, because they really wanted to get hour 2 hot at him.
I wrote the same thing. We're hitting the ground running.
This match goes 4 minutes and 30 seconds. It's about as bad as you would expect it to be. Fans actually pop because here comes Buff Bagwell. He runs into the ring and causes a DQ because he goes after his former tag team partner Scotty Riggs.
Yep, that sounds about right. They are full on calling him Buff Bagwell at this point.
Yes, he is officially Buff Bagwell, but that was a waste of time. Talking about a waste of time, this is going to take forever. Oh my God.
Oh boy, here we go.
Rowdy Roddy Piper is here, which usually ends up being, it could be wild, but it's usually fun. So here we go. It comes out, he talks about putting Hogan to sleep twice now. Okay. Tells us, he gives us what he was rambling about. Remember like a month ago, the NW attacked him. They were putting him into the ambulance. He was on a stretcher, just like saying nonsense. He tells us what that means, which I forget. It wasn't that important. He says he's going to face 6 men. And so we're talking about this is where it gets very confusing. He talks about facing 6 men, which I believe is the uncensored all titles on the line match, right, Adam?
It's gotta be.
Okay. He says that he has his real family, the fans' family. He's going to have a new family to be his team. Which is confusing because last week Luger and Giant said they were part of this match. So wouldn't they be on this team?
I think they still are.
I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit here. Why it's so confusing and what they don't make clear at all is, Adam, there are actually 3 teams in this match. There is Team NWO, Team WCW, and Team Piper. If they had made that clear, the rest of Nitro would have made a hell of a lot more sense. But they did not make that fucking clear at all. Anyway, so here's Piper's plan. Anyway, good job of Tony Schiavone for trying to make any sense of this. He basically has to break down what Piper tried to say. Excellent job, Tony Schiavone. Because next up, Piper wants to decide who his team is going to be. So he is going to bring out people to spar with him. And then depending on if the fans like them or not, thumbs up, thumbs down, they will become part of Team Piper. This makes sense, Adam.
It sure Does so far.
Great. So who's the first one out? Who is it going to be? Someone from WWF jumping ship at him? Is it going to be someone turning face to join Piper? Is it going to be someone? I don't know. No, just some random jack dude. They don't even say what his name is. He gets into the ring. Taps out from an armbar in like 30 seconds. So the fans, of course, Adam, give him a thumbs down. So he will not be on Team Piper.
He is he's also just wearing jeans. Just wearing some denim. He's a nobody. You won't recognize him. You won't see him again.
Next up, another big jack dude, this time wearing jean shorts. This person, they do not mention, but I do know who it is. Adam, do you know who this man is?
I do. He is the older brother of the current WWE Universal Champion, one Luther Reigns.
Oh, older brother, not like separated at birth, cousin or something. It's definitely
Look, they
brother.
have the same name and they're in professional wrestling, so clearly they're related, even though he is not Samoan.
Yes, it's the future of Luther Reigns. He jumps into the ring. He slaps Piper right away and shows some real power, but Piper locks him in a sleeper, and he has done so. So the fans at him give him a thumbs down. Sorry, go
ahead.
I was going to say, we are now 12 minutes into the segment.
You are not wrong. Have you ever seen a little film called The Girl Next Door?
I have, Adam. I own that movie.
So do I. I love that movie. Well,
I do too.
I was just going to make a shout out. Luther Reigns has a quick little role in there.
He's great. More than quick. He's in it for a little bit. He's actually very good at it.
He takes a huge bump in it. He's chasing the kids out of the porn convention or whatever, and he jumps off a second-story balcony for some reason and crashes through a table. It's hilarious. That movie's great.
Very underrated.
Yep. Monday Night Pod, seal of approval. But you know who's probably not going to have that? Number 3 guy in Piper's thing that never seems to end.
Yeah, so here's Adam number 3. It's another random jack dude, but don't worry, he doesn't even get into the ring because another man runs out from behind him, who's literally just in his underwear and boxing gloves, attacks man number 3 and takes his place. So now we're moving on to man number 4. So we're over 3 apparently. He gets to the ring, and because he has boxing gloves on, Piper decides, well, I guess let's box. So he puts on boxing gloves too, and they start to box. This dude gets a lot of licks in on him, then just takes down Piper. So now I guess it's a UFC match because there's punching and takedowns. Piper eventually calls for a time to shake his hand. So Piper thinks, well, got this kid over. He goes, what do you guys think? And all the fans fucking boo because this is already the worst segment in the history of wrestling. Piper's like, oh shit, they're supposed to be cheering. So he gets on the mic and he tries to get the crowd to accept him, but they still are having none of this. So Piper starts fighting with him again, once again, trying to get this guy over. The whole point is like, he's actually like keeping up with Piper, trying to get the fans don't give a fuck. Finally, Piper can't do it. So they still give him a no. Piper's like, yeah, all right, cool. You're on the team.
Let us also mention that, like, this went on for so long. Them, like, fake boxing each other and falling down and stuff like that. I saw when he came out, and I thought, you know what makes sense for this segment is, like, yeah, we're going to put on the boxing gloves. We're going to build that up, whatever. And, you know, the guy comes in and Piper just goes, bam! And just, like, knocks him out, right? Like, just done. Like, that would work for this segment because, you know,
well, but then he doesn't have a team. Piper's supposed to find well, we'll get to the next guy, and it sort of makes clear what they're attempting to get over. So the next man is a barefooted beast Adam who starts throwing kicks. So what's the story they're trying to tell is Piper's team is going to be made up of a boxer, a martial arts artist, and we'll get to the next person next, but Piper so again, they're going back and forth in sparring. This guy's a martial artist. Piper eventually calls time and raises his hands, and the crowd boos. They don't like him either. Well, fuck it. Let's bring on man number 6. It's John Tenta, someone we actually do know.
The big reveal.
Yes, Tenta is being put over as a sumo wrestler. So now Piper is going to have a boxer, a martial artist, and a sumo wrestler in his team. Piper pretends to shake his hand, but then gets in some cheap shots. The 2 other men come in to attack Tenta. Piper seems very happy as the 3 of them brawl. He gets on the mic and says, "This is my family."
Well, at least Tenta doesn't have his half haircut gimmick anymore.
No.
Uh,
This is one of the worst segments you will ever see in wrestling history. And spoiler alert, Adam, I don't believe this is the team Piper ends up with at the pay-per-view anyway.
well, I would hope not, because yeah, this was like, I mean, if you think about like the gravity of saying this is a segment that Rowdy Roddy Piper couldn't save. This is something that Rowdy Roddy
It
Piper
was,
couldn't turn
first of
around.
all, to be clear, I'm sure this was 99% things that were in his head. He came up with this concept.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It was just, yeah. I mean, my goodness, this is my point to like the knockout being like that. You have chumps coming out, and like, you know what? Have them run through 5 chumps, but run through them. Don't give them some competition.
Well, he did
And
that to the
then like,
first two people.
no, I know he did that for the first 2 people, but like, you know, you should have been. Well, you got 2 weeks until this pay-per-view or whatever, right? So like, fine, if you're looking for 3 guys, find one of them tonight, find one of them next week, and then have a surprise
Right.
at the pay per
This
view.
didn't need to be half an hour long.
Oh yes. Also, it was a half hour long.
It kills the crowd. It killed me. It destroyed the show, and it was one of the worst things in wrestling history. And so, I guess worth watching in that regard.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
if you have like, if you want to punish yourself because you have literally nothing else to do with your time, yes, this. Otherwise, we took that bullet for you here on Monday Night Pod.
oh, next up, there's no coming back from this though. It's Mr. JL versus Ray Ray. This match was 4 minutes. None of them get entrances. I wonder why. Were they short for time for any reason on the show? We go backstage and we hear for Prince Ikea as the match starts. Prince Ikea cuts one of the most boring, emotionless promos I've ever heard in wrestling. So back to back, two of the worst things I've ever seen. He's just like, Ray, I guess we're gonna like face off for the title. I guess like, yeah, it'll be a match. Cool. Thank you, Prince Ikea.
Jeremy,
Springboard.
we can't use audio directly from the network legally. Like we can't. Why did you just cut that in right there? Like, aren't we gonna get in trouble? Aren't we gonna get some kind of copyright strike on the YouTube page or something like that? Isn't
Oh,
iTunes gonna pull down this
got
episode?
that. I already got that for using WWF music.
Oh well.
It's okay. We don't make any money from YouTube, so it doesn't matter. Springboard Rana ends it. Ray Ray wins.
Wonderful. There you go. That match was not what's going to turn the show around, so hopefully there's something else.
Not this segment. Here comes Mean Gene.
Oh,
He's
God.
here with Medusa. We haven't seen in a fucking year. Apparently, she's the #1 contender for the women's title. I didn't know there was a women's title. I didn't know there was a champion. And I didn't know. And how in the world does she become the #1 contender? That's never answered. But she says that she's been here for more than a year. She trashed a world-class title. And what did she get? Nothing. She sits dormant because Eric Bischoff is more interested in himself and the NWO. She says NWO stands for New Women's Organization. Okay.
Yep.
She will best Hakata Koda for the women's championship when they face off. And then she decides to randomly call out Luna Vachon. She goes, I saw Luna Vachon backstage. And as she's saying that, Luna Vachon runs out and starts to beat the shit out of Medusa.
There we go. Luna Vachon from the famous Vachon family, they remind us many, many times, without like getting a good look at Luna at all. This is woof. I mean, I'm glad to see Medusa get TV time again, but like, she's totally right about being pissed about all this, you know?
Yeah, she doesn't really cut the best promo.
She doesn't cut the best promo, but she's a hell of a performer. She's a hell of a wrestler. That's like where she's supposed to be. And as you mentioned, as she mentioned, it's been like a year.
Yep, she threw the belt in a title, and they didn't do anything with it.
Yep,
It's been over. Wait, she jumped. Wait, it's 19. I get all the times confused. She jumped in 95. So yeah, it's been over. It's been over a year since she's been on Nitro.
Yeah. It sounds.
It was December '95.
December 18th, 1995 is when Medusa
Yep.
threw that belt in the trash, so it has been more than a year. Whew!
Well, here comes the real NWO, not the new women's organization. Eric is still here, so I guess not suspended, or I don't really know how this suspension works. Sting is there too, Adam, walking behind all of them. Eric says that they are all friends of Ted, so Schiller can't do shit. Ted Turner, of course. Hogan makes fun of Piper's team, rightfully so. And Savage talks about being the real icon, not that chump Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Well, I like that Piper said icon means I cower over nothing. That's that's kind of
Yes, Piper has his brand new icon t-shirt.
that's kind of a cool saying, but yeah.
Cool. Main event time, Adam. Steiner Brothers versus Giant and Lex Luger. Big beefy men just going at it, Adam. Big double suplex on Giant. He takes. I mean, anytime Giant has to take a bump, it's a massive bump and takes that shit. They do big boy things to each other until the NWO come out and the match just stops. Sting comes out separately from the NWO though. Piper and his band of losers also come out into the ring, and the NWO surrounds the ring. It's now Team WCW and potentially Team WCW and potentially Team Piper. Now that I've made clear that there's multiple teams are in the ring. Tony screams out there, "Out of time, we gotta go," just as they all start brawling, and the show ends with a massive fight.
With Sting backing away from it all, though, also.
Yes, Sting was not involved.
What is going on with Sting? Jer Bear. Oh my God. That Nitro, man. Whoo! This was not able to pick up the pieces after that.
Nope.
Like,
you wonder what also got cut. They probably had a whole other match in there somewhere.
yeah, probably Prince Iaukea defending the TV
or I don't
title.
know, maybe or like maybe
yeah.
Steiner Brothers and Giant and Luger had like a real match.
Yeah, well, because they're fun to watch in general. I mean, I love the Steiner
Mhm.
brothers and Luger and Giant are a fun tag team to see together. You know what though? At least we got the greatest Halliburton spot I've ever seen in this show.
Yeah, I mean, it started out as just like a normal Nitro, I guess, but the Piper segment just torpedoed the entire thing.
Well, I mean, let's not pretend that like hour 2 was doing great before that. Hour 2 started with Mr. Wall Street versus Scotty Riggs going to a DQ. So, and then we
Right.
had, oh my God, hour 2, man. Woof. That was a tough hour of television. I'd like to hear. There's got to be an 83 weeks where he talks about Piper and his teammates.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I was trying to look for that today. I don't know if it's a Piper specific episode or if it's the uncensored episode, which it probably is. I wanted to go back and listen to it. I just didn't find time. I'm gonna actually try and do that maybe after record because I'm almost positive Eric has spoken about this. I just forget exact details of what he said.
Yeah. Well, yep. So we both have those heavy feelings about Nitro. The Halliburton spot was great. We got to see Luther Reigns for a second, who must be, as we mentioned, so proud of his younger brother right now, the head of the table, WWE Universal Champion Roman. But as you've mentioned, our thesis statement in Monday Night Pod is to go back and re-review Nitro and Raw head-to-head, decide who should have won the Monday Night Wars on a night-by-night basis. Jeremy, who won tonight? Who won March 4th, 1997?
Raw.
Raw takes the win with a show that they pre-recorded on, I think it was February 26th. So, the match results have been in for about a week, but it's all good in the hood because that was a heck of a show that they got to put on, including a 17-minute and 20-second Helms Lee versus Bret Hart match, according to my notes.
Well, that's what we thought, Adam. America in 1997 did not agree. Nitro gets a 3.4 and Raw gets a 1.9.
Holy shit. No wonder they treated the European title so bad. I think that's probably the lowest
Well,
Raw we've heard yet, right?
no, we've definitely had lower. But, I do think that people probably were like, just made an assumption of, a live Nitro and a taped Raw, and Raw wasn't great last week. But I do think that this specifically was one of these nights where the seeds were there. Things were going to change. You could look back and be like, this is a night Nitro fucked up because all these people turned on Nitro instead and look what they watched. And I think then, they hear rumblings of like, oh, wait, like Owen and Davey had like a great match. Ooh, Austin cut a killer promo. Oh, we got a title match between Mankind and Sid. Like, it's not like today. You couldn't really go back and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't DVR.
There's no internet. Most people, there's no DVR. I guess you could have recorded it, but how many people were really doing that? You missed out. I think this was a night that set the table for the tides turning back to the WWF.
Well, that's a bit of a spoiler as well, because Jeremy, we've got like 3 more years to work this out about who should have won the Monday Night Wars in the end. And we're gonna know. We're gonna have a tally count by the end. Do I think Judy Bagwell on a pole storylines are gonna help sway that eventually? No, not really. But we're here to find out. We're gonna take that journey together.
And what's amazing, Adam, is we love to know what you guys think. So if you have thoughts, there's a million ways to do that. You can tweet at us at Monday Night Pod. You can Facebook at us Monday Night Pod. You can email info@mondaynightpods.com. You can Facebook at us Monday Night Pod, say to Instagram, whatever. It's all Monday Night Pod everywhere. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can leave a comment below. Let us know who you thought should have won the Monday Night Wars for this episode. While you're there, subscribe, like the video, share, because all those things are great. If you're listening to this on podcast form, which most of you guys do, make sure you hit the follow or subscribe button. That would be amazing. If you're listening specifically on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review. That's helpful. And just share the podcast everywhere, no matter what platform you enjoy doing. If you're like, I love MySpace, put us on your MySpace page. If you're more of a Facebook guy, share it on Facebook. If you just want to text your fucking friends, WeChat. There's so many ways to share this podcast, and those little tiny things do tremendous things for us. So it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, personally, when I see a friend or somebody posting their stuff that they make, I just give it the little like or whatever, because who cares? What do I have to protect my internet currency or something like that? I know how much it means to them since they went out of their way to make something for me or for audiences, for eyeballs, and we're going out of our way to make something for you, the podheads, because we love it and you deserve it.
Well, that's it. Bye.